no matter what that one stream is, something can always go awry. And it would be like only having like a Phillips head screwdriver in your tool belt. What if there's a different type of screw that you need to screw in, You need to have all of your tools in your tool belt so you can pull out the right ones when you need them. Hey, difference makers, and welcome to the podcast. We are excited because today you have me and Steve.
It's
Woo-hoo!
just the two of us. See what happens when the sun comes out, Jeanine.
By the rest, they abandon you, Steve.
So it's the warmest day ever. It's going to hit 20. It's 20 degrees,
which I looked up, and that's like 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Yes.
Well, it sounds much better when you say it's 68, but double digits. Like we're over 10 degrees and it's now 20 degrees. So I'm very excited. No wonder nobody turned up today.
That's why no one turned up but you and I. It's like that song, Just the Two of Us.
Yeah, let's do it. So what are we talking about today, Jeanine?
We are talking about model calls, Steve, but not the way that many people, I think, when they hear the word model call, think they have a preconceived notion of what that is, and that's not what we're talking about. So
Why is it that we always seem to do things differently to everybody else? I don't know what it is.
Maybe it has to do with our name.
Maybe. Maybe. And we decided to do this one because of our inner circle call last night, which was exciting. And, well, it was, oh no, well, you explain it. You're better at explaining all this stuff.
No, that's okay. Yeah, it was, weekly we have 3 live Zooms, right? And so on one of the coaching calls, we were talking about when ideas that you can quickly implement in your business to diversify your marketing, right? And so we were giving our members long-term strategies as well as quick strategies, right? Because Steve,
medium term. It was medium term.
No matter what kind of amazing business planners we are, no matter what kind of level strategic thinkers we are, there are always times in our business where you look at your calendar, you're like, you know what, I could use some more sessions next week.
Yeah.
Or at the end of this month or this week. And so we were sharing what
the main thing was that you should never ever rely on one stream of marketing. I think that's been the huge message from that week, that we were finding a lot of our members were purely relying on, one Facebook ad, or purely relying on expos, or purely relying on some referral that the contact that they've got, and they're not diversifying their marketing, because we need minimum 7 different streams in order to make sure that we're not suffering from those, highs and then dips and then highs and then dips, because, Facebook changes its algorithm all the time, and that affects everything.
It affects everything. No matter what that one stream is, something can always go awry. And it would be like only having like a Phillips head screwdriver in your tool belt. What if there's a different type of screw that you need to screw in, You need to have all of your tools in your tool belt so you can pull out the right ones when you need them.
Yeah. Perfect.
And so yeah, that was the conversation, and it was interesting. I always find it interesting, Steve, when we're coaching on these calls and we're giving a lot of information, right? And a member will take one piece of it and run with it and then have immediate success.
How awesome was it? It was overnight.
It was like overnight, and it brought the biggest smile to my face, and I know your face, and obviously the thoughts of other members who are like, oh my gosh, like this idea, it was implemented overnight, and here we are, right? And that's why we're like, when we're podcasting today, what should we talk about? Let's talk about this, because if it helped that member overnight, imagine our podcast listeners, and maybe it'll spark an idea for them too.
Yeah. So what did he share?
So what did he share? Or what did we share to spark him sharing?
Well, what did we share first? Well, we sort of covered that, sort of.
I know, right? So when we were sharing ideas, like when we were talking about diversifying your marketing, one of the ideas we shared was a model call.
Mm-hmm.
And how you can use this concept in your business to bring in clients, whether they be bringing in existing clients again for another reason, or reaching out into the community to find new people to bring in. And there's different ways you can do either one. But this was the idea that we shared, right? You're looking at your calendar, whether it needs to be to fill spots, like you have some Tuesdays with availability, or you have 2 weeks from now, for some reason, the universe conspired and there's no bookings. Or as you said, Steve, you should never have to pay for a studio sample in your studio ever again, because you can do model calls to develop new pieces for artwork in your studio. And so there's several
and then the
reasons
money that
why
you make
do
from
a
the model calls pays for all your
It pays for all of this.
income
Yes.
with loads and loads of spare money.
So I want you to share, Steve, how you talk about a model call and why it's so different from what people typically think. It's not just all pretty people come to the studio.
Well, should we share what the win was for Stuart first?
Sure.
So it was great that, Stuart got in and thanked us for sharing that, and that he took it and ran and created. And I listened back to the recording today because I wanted to hear it again to make sure I heard it right. And he said that he was 4 bookings shy of his goal of where he should be for this time this month. So he's made his bookings, but he was 4 bookings shy for where he wanted to be. And so he took what we taught and created a model call, but made it only for his existing clients. So only he's got a group, and he posted it in his group for all the people that have been his clients and have been great clients. And so what he wanted to do was, and he just put a call out wanting models because they're wanting to create new displays. They're wanting to create new ideas, and they're looking for people who have already been through the experience that would love the opportunity to come in for another experience with them and try something new. And he said that it's funny how if you tell yourself, I need 4 bookings, that's exactly what he got. I kind of think
it's funny how that happens, isn't it?
Sometimes had he said, I need 6 bookings, he probably would have booked 6.
Stuart, if you're listening, you can always do it better.
He did say that he's still got people messaging him, and he's still got lots of people to get back to. So more than likely he'll get more bookings. But it's funny how when you set your target at 4, that's kind of what he got. So really, really interesting. So, let's just go through, what a model call really is. So then that way, maybe some people can take that idea and run with it again. So Stuart chose to run it within his quality clients that he knew were already great clients in his own Facebook group. But it is something that you can do a call out for to the general public to get new clients, as well as get those trusted clients back. Really, if you haven't invited your clients back, why not? And this is a great way to do it because they're tried, they're tested, they're already educated, they already know the value that you're going to give them. They already know that they're going to be spending money, and it's an easy way to get people in. So the idea is you're doing a model call and you're wanting perhaps to create new artwork for the walls, new samples. Maybe you want to try something new. I've often done it when I've had to train new team members and wanted to sort of push the boundaries a little bit with them. But the whole point of this is that you're going to take somebody through the entire experience. So it's not just a photo shoot. They're going to get their discovery calls. We're going to involve any other decision makers that need to be involved. We're going to do the meet and greet properly. We're going to do the product walk properly. We're going to take them through the entire experience, right through to them wanting to select some photographs and create some artwork. And this is where a lot of people make the mistake. They focus on the shoot and the props and the backgrounds, and not about capturing emotion and capturing something meaningful to that person. And the other mistake that they make is that they'll throw them some files, or they'll throw them something that the studio doesn't even normally want to sell sometimes. And so what happens is the people that come in for the model call don't understand the value of the session, don't understand the value of the experience. And then when they walk away with a disk full of files, or, a download of files, they don't even know how to recommend you or the value of what they've received. Whereas if you're giving somebody, say, $500 to spend in your studio, and we used to give away $1,500 because we were really confident, especially to our current clients, that these people were going to spend. And the discovery calls really did iron out or attract the right people, because great clients are made, not found, right? So we could give away that $1,500, and then, we made it. We need people that are available on a Tuesday, or we need people that are available on a Thursday, and we'd put that in the ad. And so that way we're filling in the gaps that we need to fill in. But then they have this gift certificate to spend. And the mindset of that person that's coming in for the model call with money to spend is very different to the mindset of that person that, I'm coming in to do you a favor. I'm going to be your model. I'm doing you a favor and you owe me files.
Well, and I think that photographers project that.
Yes.
I think they project that they're almost begging someone to come in and model for them. And please just come in and I'll give you all of this to come do this for me.
Yeah. And I think that as an industry, we are almost apologetic to clients or to these models. And yes, we are helping them. But when you get a model, as opposed to a family or a client that has been had a great time, it's more relatable.
Mm-hmm.
Those people are so much more relatable. So that way, the artwork that you're producing to display on your walls, people connect with.
It's more real.
It's more real. And one of the part of the selection process, because, when I had my studio, I had 3 or 4 photographers working for me, and they would always say, oh my God, this would be a great display. This would be a great display. Now, I know the client didn't spend anything, but she was amazing. And, this would make a great display. Well, the main criteria is that they have to have spent money with us. Because I'm a strong believer that what we put out there is what we get back. And every time I fell for that, and we printed somebody that, and I suppose we were in a high traffic area and people were walking past, but those people send people like themselves. And every time I put up a display of somebody that wasn't really great to work with, didn't spend any money, I seem to get more of those people. And when we chose the people that were great to work with, perfect, our ideal client, were happy to spend, and we did displays of those people, because they knew they were on the wall, they knew they were featured, they would send me all these people that would come peering in through the window, and we would get inquiries from people just like them. And so you want people that are relatable. We had this incredible photo that we did, and it was like a rock star mum that was pregnant. You know how they're just perfect. They don't even look. They've got an Amazon
right. It's like they got
body.
A little basketball right here on their belly.
Yeah, it's an Amazon body with a basketball in, right there. And we went to an expo, and I'm thinking, how are we not getting anyone coming up to the stand with this as our main photo? Like, she's stunning. Great body. And I sort of walked 3 or 4 stands away, and I was listening to people, and they would turn around, they would look at it. I know we could maybe have to bleep this out, but they would turn around and go, bitch, as if anybody's ever going to look like that when they're pregnant.
Right.
Right. And so it has to be relatable.
Yeah.
And so the people you choose, if you are choosing, some of your current clients, and some people call them past clients, it becomes more relatable.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I've had that happen too in the studio, where we pick something for the wall, and even if it's a display, and even if it's someone who did spend well, they're a great client, and it was one of those sessions where the angels were singing down from heaven and everything was perfect, and it's hard, because as a photographer, you want to show what you think is perfect. But in reality, no one wants to see perfect, because then it puts even more pressure on themselves to be perfect.
Mm.
Especially with our high school seniors, and I learned that lesson really hard, really fast, several years ago, when we had on display like the perfect quarterback with his perfect truck, with his perfect muscles and his perfect, and everyone else, they would look at them like, that's great, but I'll never look like that. So why even bother? And I'm like, oh, all right, down with that display, up with more people that are real.
Real.
It's gotta be real. And it's interesting, Steve, because I think besides that, what you touched on, and you said it briefly, but I really want to go back to it because I know I have fallen into this trap and I know I've heard other members do this. So you can use as a catalyst for the phone call, I need to test out this new background, or I have this new genre that I want to introduce into the studio. You can use that as the catalyst, as the reason to call. But then that's where that ends. And it needs to switch to your normal, like a discovery call, and they're coming in for this full experience.
You've got to give them the whole experience.
You've got to give them the whole experience.
And I think this is where a lot of people make the mistake. What they give them is all that I need. All that I need is some photos.
Right. I see something for my wall. I need something for my marketing.
But the reality is,
yeah.
And in that case, yes, they're doing you a favor. But when you give them the full experience, then they're no longer doing you a favor because you've just made a difference to their lives and you've just given them this incredible experience. And when I was running Fired for a month and I was studio takeovers, this is the way that we would, because usually there's nothing on display that we can sell. And so we were desperate to get something in, and we had nothing in the bank usually to work with. That's why I chose those people to do Fired for a month, because, you suck so bad at being a studio owner, hand in your keys and, I'm going to take over for a month. And what happened was we used the model calls to bring people in, and we could easily bring in $40,000, $50,000 in the first month purely by doing the model calls. And that would then pay for painting, a bit of furniture, and the studio. What we needed is studio samples, and maybe we needed to, hire somebody to help out do something, and it would help pay for all of that. And so the model call is also a way to generate income, over and above paying for your display. See, that's why your display should never cost you anything, because when you give people this opportunity and you take people through the entire experience. And for me, it was also a way for me to train this person that I was helping by taking over their studio on what an experience should be from start to finish. And so it's a great way to train and polish your ability on the phone, the way you meet and greet somebody, the way you present the product before you photograph them, the way that you interact with them as they're having their hair and makeup done, the way that you interact with them as you are photographing, and then the way you interact them as they're waiting for their photos to download and be cropped and culled, and then to do their design consultation. And so they have that $500 or $200 or $1,500 to spend, and they walk into the design consultation room knowing that we've given them $1,500. When you choose to give them free photos or all the files, they walk away not feeling like you really gave them any value at all.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what that value is. Right? But when they have $1,500 to spend and they walk away, and in most cases they would spend another $3,000 or $4,000 on top of that, right? They then can walk away and tell everybody about, oh my God, I've just had it. You should see this new product. It's amazing. Look at what I bought. And then they can start to refer you more people knowing what it is that the end result is going to be.
And they truly feel appreciated because there's value on it. No one values free, No. And so it's kind of like, the stories where like someone puts a refrigerator out in their driveway. It says, take me, and no one takes it.
Yeah.
Then they put $100 on it and it's stolen overnight,
Yeah.
Because now there's a value on it. And so we're doing this right now because we're launching our grandparent promotion at the studio. And so I called 5 of my existing clients. that I knew.
I love how you've now made it existing clients.
I've done that for a while now, Steve. I'm not going to be admonished by you.
And you're a strong believer of getting your clients back and building a relationship.
I am. That's always been how I've built my business. I love it because my why is I want to go through life with my clients, right? I love that feeling. This is the first year I photographed high school seniors for newborns I photographed 18 years ago.
Wow.
And it's special. I had
old at that point.
Stop. I'm not talking about that. I started photographing when I was 10. Right. I was 10 years old when I photographed these newborns.
You were barely walking and you were holding a camera.
Barely walking myself with a camera in my hands. But it's special when we have those relationships with our clients. It almost becomes like an extension of your family. They view you like it's a very close relationship. So I love having my clients in multiple times a year after year, watching them grow, being that person that creates these moments for them. And so it was easy for me. I have my notes, and you guys should have notes in your CRM. So when I've had this idea for the grandparents, I can go through my notes and know exactly who to call who have grandparents that live here.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think this is another mistake people make is that they don't put everything that they know into the database. Like when a client leaves after their design consultation, after their sale, there's so much more that comes out during that time that they are purchasing from you. You need to update your CRM. You need to update your notes so then you can go back to them.
You can.
So this is probably the question that most people are going to ask, Jeanine. Let's get down and dirty. How do you call these people? What do you say to them? This is the question I get asked all the time.
Pick up the phone, Steve. What do I say?
I know. But I think, first of all, before you even go there, I think we need to talk about the mindset of who you need to be and who these people are, even before you select them or before you pick up the phone. So, what goes through your mind? What do you, what's the mindset? What's that belief that you need to have, do you think, Jeanine?
So for me, when I was going through, I was calling existing clients. I wanted clients who were raving fans, who love photography, who love the experience, who love being at the studio, who bring their kids regularly. And who, for me, since it was grandparents, I wanted grandparents who were excited to also be there with their grandkids, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's where I went to first, because I didn't want the cold, prickly grandparents, that we would have to force with a shoehorn to get in here. I wanted ones that would be excited to be here with their grandkids and love on the experience. And so I was, it's
people you build a relationship with.
Yeah, people I've built a relationship with, the low hanging fruit, the ones that are easy. I don't want to make a difficult phone call, Steve. I want to make an easy phone call. So I was looking, and it's funny when you start thinking about that. I had 5 pop into my mind right away. Mm-hmm. And these were 5 where one of them, even I had photographed the kids with the grandparents last year. No reason I can't do it again this year, Mm-hmm. Kids are older. Things have changed. And so, but the blessings of living in Florida, God's waiting room. There's a lot of grandparents that live here. So it's easy for me to think of clients whose grandparents live here. We have clients whose grandparents live with them, right? And so we have all these, because we have these conversations with our clients, I was able to easily think of 5. But those were the ideas I had in my head. Who is going to love to hear from me? Who is going to feel, and who do I want to appreciate? So that was another thing too. I really, clients that have been really good to us, mm-hmm. They've referred us, they spend well every time they come in. They're always excited to be here. Why not bring them in and give them a $500 gift certificate to do another session?
Why wouldn't you reward those ones?
Why wouldn't I reward those people, and give them that opportunity and give them that reward and let them feel appreciated? There's no better way I can appreciate somebody than with the gift of more portraits when they value it that much.
But I think this is where a lot of people struggle, is that they feel as though they're forcing people to come in, or that the client, they're worried about the client's reactions. So when you called these people, what was their reaction, Jeanine?
Oh, they were excited. Like the one in particular, I was like, because it was one that had come in. Actually, 3 of them have already been in with grandparents before. But she was like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing! I would love to do this." Like my mom's going to be so excited to come find new clothes and do this again with her grandkids, right? And so They were excited. And then when I told them that I was going to give them a certificate to spend towards whatever they want to purchase from the session, they were overly grateful. Overly grateful. And it gives me a new reason to talk to the grandparents, because I told her, I said, last time I didn't really get to speak to your mom because it was the last time we did it, it was for the 100th birthday of her mother-in-law.
Right.
And so we did a big celebration. And so everything was really focused on her mother-in-law, and her parents came as well.
Right.
But the focus wasn't really on her parents, on her mom. And so to be able to now have these in-depth conversations with her mom and have it all be about her and not the auxiliary was really special. So she was really excited.
So good.
Yeah.
And have they been in for their session? Was it a great session?
No, it's next week.
Okay. Exciting.
Yeah, it will be a great session. I can speak with definite.
So have you done anyone that you've just called in and
yes, I've done one. The other 4 are scheduled in the next week or 2.
Okay, so you've already done one. And how did that go?
It went fabulous too, and it was interesting because this was a client who I have photographed since she was born. She's 9 and her grandparents live here. And I have photographed her multiple times with her grandparents at different things at her school. But
so
never
come back again and again and again.
It's amazing how that happens, right?
When you make a difference.
When I have photographed her with her grandparents at her school, but never in the studio. Her grandparents have always been here watching the sessions, but have never participated in the sessions.
Shame on you for not including the recording, Jeanine. So you have to rectify that.
Well, and it's funny because it's always been let's get you in these. No, I don't like the way I look. I don't like my hair. It's too gray, or I don't like this is too that, And so they always had an excuse. And so when I called the mom and I said, listen, I am starting this new promotion in the studio because I have this love in my heart for grandparents. And your parents are here all the time for these sessions, all the time, but they're never in them. And you know what? When your daughter grows up, guess what? She's not going to just want photos of herself and all these different scenes. She's going to want photos with her grandparents.
Yeah.
And it's close to my heart. And you guys have been amazing supporters of the studio. You love photography. I know your mom loves the photography of her grandkids and these portraits. I want her in these portraits. She is coming into my studio and we're going to do this. And as to thank her for it, we're giving you $500 to spend towards the portraits. Please come in and do this. And she's like, oh my God, yes. My mother can't say no to this. And it was just funny, And so when you're calling your good clients, the conversations are fun, Steve. You can even riff off of it. And one, it wasn't her, but it was another client. When she said that she's like, oh, my mom's going to protest. I'm like, well, tell her it's not about her. And she, it was the kind of client you could say that to and say it's about her grandkids and her grandkids love her and they're going to want these photos with her. And she started laughing and I talked to the grandma afterwards and she's very thankful and she's excited to come in,
Right.
But so when you're the fear of calling your existing clients should never exist because you've built these relationships and they're fun phone calls to have. And you're calling people that are going to
hear from you most of the time.
What do you say? That's what I was just going to say. They're excited to hear from you. Oh, why is Jeanine calling? And then you tell them is to invite them in and you're going to give them a gift certificate towards portraits.
Why would you do
hello?
that? And so when you've actually done this, have they just taken their gift certificate and run or have they spent more money?
Yeah, no, they didn't even use the gift certificate. They spent nothing. They didn't like the photos at all. Of course they spent more, Steve. That's the whole idea, right? So, and I'll tell you the exact, so when we did their design consultation, and we're doing 2, right? So we've done one of the 2 because we couldn't. Huh?
Why are you doing 2?
Because the daughter couldn't be there. And so I'm doing a second one with the daughter. Right. And so
you're doing the right thing that you're splitting up the sales.
Yes. Right. It's like I've listened to you.
Amazing.
It's amazing. So when grandma was in, first of all, she was the one who had always made the joke that she didn't want to be in the photos because she looked old and wrinkly and, but one of my favorite things with grandparents and grandkids are the hands. And so, we talked about that and she's holding her grandkids' hands and she loved them more than she thought she would. And she was able to focus on the way her grandchildren were looking at her and not so much on her. And then when she did point stuff out, I'm like, Rob can fix that. Don't worry about it. I'm like,
that's what it means, Jeanine. It's what she's hearing as she's seeing that photograph and what she's interpreting that look means.
Yeah.
And that's what's important.
And that, yeah.
The rest of it goes away because in her head, she's interpreting what that means and why that matters to her.
Yeah.
And when that's what we focus on and that's what we bring forward, then that's where the value is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and so she spent more than those certificates.
We're running out of time, Jeanine.
Oh my gosh, it's 30 minutes in. Holy cow. Like we're so bad when we don't have Jonathan or Ronan to wrap it up. We'll just keep talking.
So where do they find out more, Jeanine? They've got to click the link below.
They've got to click the link below and you can hear us talk on and on about these topics and much more when you join us in the inner circle, because this is what we do, Steve, every single week, 3 times a week. We're having conversations and coaching and answering questions and going through topics like this. And our members, they feed off the ideas of each other and they come together as a community and help each other grow and share ideas and learn and inspire each other to be better difference makers.
Yeah. And it's about coming up with new ideas and keeping everything fresh.
Yeah.
So click the link
below.
On that
link.
Find out more.
Click it.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.